We're going to just close our eyes and start with a few moments to start to bring our focus off of the busyness of our day, the things we need to get done after class, the plans and the work we have for tomorrow. For this short time we have on the mat together, just letting all those things melt out of your mind and let the focus turn inward. Checking in with yourself, asking, how am I feeling right now? How are you physically, mentally, and emotionally? Allowing yourself just to accept whatever the answer is there. Maybe you had a nice, relaxing day. Maybe it was busy. Maybe something challenging or stressful happened. Allowing yourself to feel whatever it is you have out of this day. And then slowly letting go. Allowing those things to move into the past. And your mind to move into the present. Beginning with our breath, just notice the natural flow in and out without trying to change or control anything. Feel the way the chest lifts as it fills with air. The way the belly fills. And how the body relaxes with each exhale. Finding space for yourself on this mat. Each time we step on our mats, it's an opportunity to embrace a bit of curiosity and self-exploration, and to connect to that inner stillness and that peace that we all have residing inside of us. Lots of people think we use the yoga practice to help us find peace or cultivate it within ourselves, but it's actually already there. And our yoga practice helps us to more easily know how to connect with it. Each time we take a moment to be still, check in with ourselves, and simply bring the focus inward onto our breath, onto our body, we're helping to connect to that inner stillness. Let's let the breath begin to deepen. Just nice and slow, breathing in through the nose. Take your time drawing the air in. When you get to the top and you feel you've taken in as much air as you can, just pause for a moment. And then just as slowly let the air come back out through the nose. Once you've emptied out as much air as you can on the exhale, just hold at the bottom. And then slowly bring it back in. Trying our best not to gulp the air, but little by little drawing in and out. The entire body relaxes with each breath. The worries of the day melting away. For this moment, no one else needs your attention or your care. There's only you here right now. On the next inhale, just letting yourself sit up a little taller as you fill the belly and the chest. Hold that length in the spine as the air comes back out through the nose. Feel the shoulders drop a little bit more. Continuing this long breath, we're just going to deepen it a tiny bit more. On the exhale, letting the abs squeeze in, just slightly pressing the air out of the belly all the way down to the low abs. Feel the air just press out. Hold that firmness in your belly for a moment. And then relax and let your breath come back up for the inhale. Hold at the top. And then exhaling to empty the air, squeezing slightly through the belly, all the way down to the low belly. Holding firm there for a moment before inhaling again. Let's just take 5 more breaths just like this. Nice, strong, slow exhales. Using the power of our diaphragm to connect the breath to the strength in the belly. And on this next breath, just letting yourself come back to a natural rhythm of breathing. Maybe feeling a little bit more open in the chest now, a little bit more clarity in the throat, the nose, the mind. And on the next inhale, we'll reach the arms up into the sky, give ourselves a nice long stretch. Let the fingers interlock, and we're going to press the palms up toward the ceiling, taking that stretch nice and long. And on an exhale, curve the back away, let the arms come forward and the chin fall in toward the chest. Inhaling, we're going to lift back up to the ceiling. And exhaling, we're going to come down and forward. Inhaling once more to the ceiling. And exhale, bend the elbows, let the palms come down to the base of the skull, letting the elbows open up. Lean the head into the hands, just feeling that stretch deepen into the shoulders. Good. Take a little tilt over to the right, just stretching out through the side body. And then slowly start to circle the body around, taking a full circle. Lifting our way back into the center. And then we'll take it to the left, first just holding that side bend. And then drawing your way around. Good, let's release the arms. Let the right hand come down by your side. Left arm's gonna reach over the head. Draw the left sit bone down into the mat. Feeling that stretch move all the way to the outside of your hip. Breathing up, lift the hands. And exhale out to the left. Connecting that right sit bone down toward the ground as you move. Good, lifting back into the center. And we'll exhale, let the hands come down behind us and just give the legs a little stretch out in front of you and maybe a little shake there. Now I'm going to bring my hands down a couple inches behind me, fingertips facing forward, and then just bend up the knees, bottoms of the feet come to the mat. Give the knees a little windshield wipe side to side while the wrists are getting a little stretch here. And then pausing into the center. Press the hands into the mat, let the chest lift open, the throat open to the sky, in a little sunbather position. If you want to take it deeper, pressing into the bottoms of the feet, and we're just going to lift the hips, reverse tabletop, letting the hip bones reach up for the ceiling. And then exhaling, letting yourself come down. We're going to keep that lean in the back, release the hands, find a little bit of balance here. If that feels good, letting the feet lift up into boat pose. Now, if you need more support here, you can always hold on to the backs of the legs, keeping lots of length in the spine either way. Beautiful. Let the feet come to the mat, and we're going to reach through in between the legs, reach up for the top of the mat. Let the chin tuck in toward the chest. Rolling your weight back. We'll roll shoulder blades back in together. Take your little lean and lift the feet. Again, you can hold the backs of the legs if that feels good. Lift through the chest. One more breath. Good. Let the feet come down. I'm going to cross them in front of me and then bring the hands forward to come to all fours, but get there however works for you. Hands are going to come down under the shoulders. We're in our tabletop position now. Go ahead, just take some nice big circles around, kind of loosening up through the joints. You can make this movement as deep as you like, letting the hips come back, the chest come forward. Just feel it out. And bring it back the other direction. Perfect. From here, letting the hips come down onto the heels, stretching the arms out nice and long into our child's pose. Our forehead comes down toward the ground. Shoulders reaching up for the top of the mat. Feel that stretch in between the blades. Now we're going to lift up onto the hands just a little bit and then let them walk out to the right as far as feels good, bringing that stretch into the left side of the body. Let the head come down. Feel the left rib cage fanning out, the stretch all the way down into the hip. On your next breath, lifting up to the hands and just walking out to the right. Over to the left as far as feels good. And then let yourself come down, feeling that right side now stretching out long. On the next breath, lifting onto the hands one more time, we'll walk into the center and then lift our way back up to all fours. Let's go ahead, tuck the toes and let the hips lift up, downward facing dog. Walking the feet, we'll just bend one knee at a time, drawing the opposite heel in the direction of the ground. Press the heels of the hands into the mat to draw the chest in the direction of the legs. Maybe a nice long spine from the top of the head to the tailbone. And then on your next breath, take a look forward. Step or hop your way up to your hands. Inhaling, we're going to lift and lengthen through the spine. And then exhaling, we're going to come down into a forward fold, letting the head grow heavy. Backs of the legs extend. One more breath. Soften through the knees and let yourself just roll all the way up to stand. You can take your time getting there. Shoulder blades rolling back, palms facing open, mountain pose. Inhaling, we'll reach the arms overhead. Let the palms come together, interlocking the fingers, and then press the palms to the ceiling. Reaching long through the whole body, take a little side bend. Lifting back through the center, and we'll bend out to the other side. And back into the center. Let's keep all that length in the spine. We're going to bend forward, reaching the arms out in front of us. Long all the way down to the mat. Good, halfway lift, find length in the spine. Exhale, come to the mat. We're going to step just the left foot back, tucking the toes under into a little runner's lunge there. And we'll just give ourselves a rock in and out of this position. Perfect. Stepping the other foot back, finding our way into plank so the body's in one long line. Press the mat away and then let yourself lower. You can use your knees to help bring you down, bending through the elbows, flatten the feet, and then lift the chest out and forward, drawing the elbows in toward your sides for cobra. On an exhale, bending the knees, draw the hips back onto the feet, reaching the arms long, in child's pose. Let's take for 5 breaths. On your next breath, lifting up to all fours. Let the toes tuck under and we'll lift downward facing dog. Take a look forward to the top of the mat, step or hop your way up and release back into the fold. Softening through the knees, we'll rise all the way to stand. Reaching the arms overhead. And then exhale, let's bring the hands down into the heart. Taking a breath here, and we're going to let the left knee turn out to the side. So my toes are still on the mat. Let that knee really open, feeling the opening in that hip joint. Then maintaining that openness, start to slide the foot up onto the leg. You can bring it onto the ankle, the side of the calf, or if you'd like to come deeper, taking a hold of the ankle to connect the foot to the inside of your thigh. Make sure whatever option you choose, you're able to maintain that openness in the hip, which is the aim of this balance. Tree pose. Beautiful. Let's float the leg off now. We're just going to let ourselves balance one more moment, letting the leg lift out. And then step the foot down, feet are open, forward fold. Let the arms extend down, maybe meeting the mat or just growing heavy. Softening into the knees, and we'll roll our way up. Take an inhale to reach tall, 5-point star. Exhale, hands to the heart as we step the feet back together. Good, inhale, reach back up, find length through the body. Exhale, maintain that length as you come forward into your fold. Inhaling, halfway lift. Exhale, come down, and we're going to step the right foot back, tucking the toes under and letting the hip come down, runner's lunge. Giving yourself a nice little rock forward and back there. Allowing that right hip flexor to get a good stretch in here. And the hip flexor is this group of muscles that runs along the front side of our hip. Good, sliding that other foot back, find your way into plank, pressing the mat away, the body is long. On an exhale, bending the elbows to lower ourselves to the mat. Flatten the feet. Inhale, let your chest slide forward, your elbows tucked to the sides, cobra. Exhale, bend the knees and let the hips come back to the feet. Child's pose. Sink in 5 breaths. On the next breath, lifting up to all fours. Tucking the toes, downward facing dog, letting the hips pike up to the ceiling. Take a look forward, step or hop your way to the hands, and release into a fold. Soften through the knees, let yourself slowly roll up to stand. Inhaling, we're going to reach. Exhaling, hands into the heart. Taking our tree pose to the other side, so right knee is going to open. Let the toes be on the mat first so that you can find that tall stance through the standing leg. Find that openness in your hip, and when you feel stable, letting the foot come up onto the leg. Again, taking your option, feel free to take it deeper if that feels good for your body, and you can maintain that openness in your hip. Think about drawing the outer edge of your knee back behind you. Good, last breath here. And we're gonna open up that balance into a star. Beautiful, let the foot come down and fold wide legs. Just breathe a moment there. Soften through the knees and we'll roll our way up to stand. Extending the arms, 5-point star. Let's drop one hand to the hip and just take a big side bend out toward it. Good, drawing back into the center and other side. Perfect, back into the center, palms meet. As I draw the hands down, I bring my feet together. And then I'm gonna sit back into my chair pose. So bending through the knees. Give the tailbone a little tuck. So sometimes we tend to kind of lean out and get this sway into our back. So we wanna tuck the tailbone under, drawing in through the pelvic floor, through your low belly, finding lots of strength in that lower body. And then reach your way back up, straighten through the legs, breathe in. Exhale and fold. Inhaling to a halfway lift. Exhale, hands come down, step back, final downward facing dog. Press into that pose. Good, draw yourself forward to plank. And then slow as you can, lowering down. So you can, again, have the option of dropping the knees first. Bend through the elbows, draw yourself to the mat all the way flat. Flatten the feet and lift to that cobra. The chest shines forward. Arms are strong. And we'll rise up to the knees. And then just walk your hands back so you can come down to a seated position. Letting the legs open up in front of you. Take it into a straddle. So when we're practicing our straddle and our straddle fold, it's important to just notice which way your toes and your knees are pointing. We want to keep them pointed up toward the ceiling in this case, pressing the backs of the legs down into the mat just to help stabilize us there. And then we're going to tilt forward just from the hips. Take your hands down in front of you. Relax the backs of the legs. And then just nice and slow start to move forward. So the point of keeping the toes and the knees pointed upward is to try and keep the sit bones stable and connected to the ground. This protects our hamstrings from overstretching. Once we start trying to roll forward, the toes will start to roll forward. And it feels like we can come deeper, but we're actually stressing into that mid hamstring. So it's better not to come as deep and get a proper stretch than to risk injuring our legs to come further. Good, let's take one more last breath here. And lifting our way into the hands, we'll just walk back. Let the feet slide in, bottoms of the feet come together, and we'll let the knees fall open, cobbler's pose. So again, as we're coming into our cobbler's pose, we want to notice our sit bones connecting down to the ground. So sitting up nice and tall, letting those sit bones come down, and then keep them connected as you come forward into this fold. So drawing the chest forward, just hinging at the hip, as if you're just shutting down. Coming as far as feels good for the body, never forcing the pose, but coming to your edge where you feel that stretch nice and deep, but there's no pain coming into it. Helping our bodies learn the difference between discomfort or challenge and pain that should be avoided. Last breath here. And we'll just slowly roll ourselves up. Good, we'll keep the left knee where it is. Step the right foot onto the mat right next to that foot. Now reconnecting through the sit bones, pulling the chest in toward that right thigh. And we're gonna twist. So I'm gonna reach outside my right leg and just hook my elbow around the front. Let my right hand come behind, coming into a twist. Now, once I'm here, I'm going to start to just press that left knee in the direction of the mat. It might be just the tiniest extra movement, but we're strengthening up through that hip and getting a little more stretch to the inner thigh here. Let your gaze come out over that right shoulder and let both shoulders relax away from the neck. Releasing to the center. And we're just going to pick up that left leg, take a hold behind the thigh, and extend the foot into the sky. If that stretch feels good, you can start to walk the hands up the back of the leg, taking a modified version of our heron pose here. Maybe even coming to the bottom of the foot if that feels good for the leg. Noticing the right knee, we don't want it to fall out. Keep stepping into the bottom of that right foot, connecting it to the mat. Very nice. Coming into our Marichyasana pose. So we're going to let the leg come down, keep holding on to the leg or the foot, and then let yourself fold down toward that leg. So again, the right foot is stepping into the mat, my knee pointing up to the ceiling. Feel free just to fold in toward the shin. You don't have to be holding the foot here. Marichyasana means ray of light pose. So imagine this is a ray of light bursting forth. Find that length in the back. Good. On a breath in, we're going to lift just the chest. And exhale, roll yourself out and back. Let that right leg just slide forward, staff pose. Take a big reach up to the ceiling. And on an exhale, come forward into that forward fold. Taking it down to the shins or maybe the feet. Letting the chest melt down in the direction of the thighs. Slowly we'll start to lift our way up. And we'll slide both feet in. Let's now open up the right hip. So let that right knee come down. Reaching forward, we're just going to wrap right elbow around the front of your left leg. And then take the left hand out behind your hip, coming into a seated twist. Once you have the twist and you're feeling nice and secure, let that right knee actively press down toward the mat. Perfect. When you're ready, releasing that twist. And we'll take a hold of the right leg, take a hold behind the leg, and stretch that foot out in front of you. Just observe the sensation going through the back of the leg. If it feels good to go deeper, start to walk the hands up the back, drawing that thigh in toward your chest. Maybe coming to the bottom of the foot. Again, connecting the bottom of that left foot down to the mat, stepping into it, letting the knee point up to the ceiling. Marichyasana on the right. I'm going to let the leg come down. I'm going to follow it. Maybe keep holding the foot if that feels good. And then draw the chest in toward the thigh. Keep stepping into that left foot, pulling the thigh in toward the side of your body. Perfect. Let's release and roll our way up. Both legs sliding out long. And we're just going to bring the hands back and behind us, fingertips face forward like we did in the beginning. Press through the hands to lift the chest open, and then point the toes, making a nice long line through the body. If this feels good and you want to take it deeper, you can take it to reverse plank or simply hold here. So reverse plank, we're going to let the hip bones lift again. Gaze in the throat opens up to the ceiling. And then softly release back down. Bending the elbows or roll all the way to the back. Let the knees come into your chest and just give yourself a little rock side to side. Great job there. Let both feet release to the mat, and we'll open up the arms into a T next to us. Right leg is going to cross over left. And then simply let the legs rock over to the left, trying to maintain that connection to the ground with your right shoulder blade. So if the shoulder is lifting off a lot, just turn back, let the knees not come down as far so that you can keep the shoulders down. Moving into our supine twist. Feel that lovely release in the low back, in the hip and the glute on the right. All the way up through the mid back and into the neck. Let's go ahead, roll our way back into the center. We're going to lift the feet off the mat, keep the legs crossed, and just reach down for the ankles or maybe the tops of the feet or the shins. Give yourself a little rock side to side again. Let the legs come back down and uncross. Arms open to that T. And the left leg is going to cross over right. Rocking yourself over to the right, letting the knees come down. Maybe turning the gaze out to the left. Supine twist on the other side. Again, my left shoulder is connecting down to the ground. Not holding the breath, let it flow freely. Wonderful job. Let's go ahead, release, come into the center, and we'll lift the feet again and take a reach down for ankles, feet, or shins, and give yourself a rock side to side. And finally, we'll release the legs. Let's stretch both legs up into the ceiling, flexing the feet there. Let the palms come down next to your hips. Waterfall pose. Drawing the low back down into the mat. And then nice and slow, just take your time drawing the legs all the way down to the mat. Once you come to the bottom, letting the legs just fall open. Letting the arms open up beside you, palms facing up. allowing the body to simply sink down into the mat in our Shavasana pose. Shavasana means corpse pose. And this is our practice of a little bit of a death to the outside world around us. Here we try to find complete stillness in the body. Letting the muscles relax and everything grow heavy. Let the back of your neck soften and the chin tuck slightly toward the chest. Let the jaw relax and part. The space between your eyebrows lets go. The palms soften as the fingers come to their natural curl. The arms grow heavy. The whole backside of your body melting down into the mat. Your legs heavy and relaxed. Feel them sink into the ground. Excuse me. Sink into the ground, relaxing down every single part of the body. Just giving yourself this time to be still. There are no expectations on you here. Nothing to produce or achieve. There's simply an opportunity for connection to that inner stillness and peace within you. allowing your awareness to start to come back here into the space. Let the breath slowly start to deepen, inviting a bit of gentle energy back to the body. Let the hands and feet start to slowly move now. And the head rocks side to side, waking gently the body. We'll let the arms stretch back out behind us. And then take a nice big full body stretch, fingertips to toes. Stepping the feet up onto the mat. We'll just take the knees gently side to side. And then when you feel ready, slowly making your way back up to seated. Leaving the eyes closed just a moment longer. We'll let the hands come into the heart in our prayer position. Take a moment just to thank yourself for showing up for your practice tonight, for the connection. And then bring the hands to the forehead, sending that gratitude out to each other person here. Thank you so much for joining us and sharing your time tonight. Namaste. Thank you everyone so much for being here. Have a wonderful night. Good night. Thank you. Bye.
Thanks, Elizabeth. Bye.
Thanks, Declan. Thank you. Have a good one.